So this, you're sure that's the official?
Okay, Madam Mayor, it is 6:04 and we are live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Lake Worth Beach Special City Commission Meeting, second budget hearing on Thursday, September 28th, 2023 at 6 o'clock. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Betty Resch,
Here.
Vice Mayor Christopher McVoy,
Here.
Commissioner Sarah Maliga,
Present.
Commissioner Kimberly Stokes,
Here.
Commissioner Reynaldo Diaz.
Here.
Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance will be read, Vice Mayor McVoy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to start out the meeting. We did a little checking on things. There are public comments on the agenda items tonight, but there's no non-agended public comment. So I just want to make that clear. So let's start with public hearing A, which is resolution 37-2023.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. For the record, my name is Yannick Indahayo, Interim Finance Director. I'm here with Monica, Assistant Finance Director with Budgeting. This resolution sets the final millage rate of 5.4945 to fund the city's final fiscal year 2024 operating budget, which is this millage rate is 11.4% more than the rollback rate of 4.93 to 3 mills.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Are there any public comment cards, Miss Clerk? Madam Clerk?
There are none, Madam Mayor, for
Okay,
this item.
I have no blue cards up here. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Passes unanimously.
Madam Mayor, should I read the resolution number?
You don't have to read,
Okay.
you can. It's your
Well,
moment to shine.
Usually for the budget ones. Okay, thank you.
Got it.
Resolution number 37, this 2023 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida Municipal Corporation, the State of Florida levying municipal tax on all taxable property within the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30, 2024. Repealing all resolutions, ordinance in conflict and providing effective date.
Thank you.
I
That
didn't want to take too
was
much
so
time.
fast.
Thank you.
Okay, item number B. Resolution 38, 2023, second public hearing, adopt the fiscal year 2024 final debt service rate. Would you read the resolution by title?
Thank you.
That's okay.
Resolution number 38-2023 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida Municipal Corporation of the State of Florida levying tax on all taxable property within the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, to approve debt service fund for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30, 2024, and repealing all resolutions, ordinance, conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Oh, do I have a second?
Second.
Any public comment, ma'am? Clerk, Madam Clerk?
There is not on this item.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Next one up is resolution 39, 2023, the second public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 2024 final city budget. Would you read by title?
Thank you. Resolution number 39-2023 is a general appropriation resolution of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida Municipal Corporation, State of Florida, making separate and several appropriations for its necessary operating expenses, the use and expense of the various funds of the departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30, 2024, providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Okay, we do have a couple of public comment cards on item C. Madam Clerk, do you have any public comment cards on C?
I have 13.
Okay. All right, we're going to start with Deborah Roberts. I should start with Peggy Fisher, make it easier. Peggy, why don't you start, make it easier for Deborah to get out?
Peggy Fisher, A Street, Lake Worth Beach. I'm speaking about the budget for next year. And one of the items that you're voting on is the CIP. And there really hasn't been much opportunity for public to talk their comments in total about the CIP projects and the things that you wanted to put in or leave out. One of the things that has been left out on purpose is our cemeteries. And I do not appreciate you shaking your head, Mayor. I really don't. I think that's disrespectful to me or any person in this room who cares about honoring the people who are buried there. I know that I have a family plot in a cemetery, and I would be speaking the same things and would not want people traipsing over my mother, my father, my grandmother, my niece, any of their graves. It is a matter of dignity and honoring and even integrity to want to make these places sacred and important. Their relatives, many of them are still in the city and still want that dignity for their loved ones. And the amount of money to start with one cemetery would be $125,000. That's $5,000 a year because they have a 25-year life. We're allocating $150,000 for playground equipment, which for that same time frame could take $375,000 based on leisure services saying that
Thank you, that's time.
I'm going to finish because everybody else takes their time.
Finish your sentence, please.
I will. That only can last for 10 years. So I ask you to be dignified and honor all the constituents in this city.
Thank you. And I shook my head, not because of any disrespect, because I think I've said on the dais, I support that. The shaking of my head was, I believe that and correct me if I'm wrong, but Mr. Finance Director, the funds that we were talking about to allocate to that were ARPA funds, not this. Is that,
No,
okay, correct me then, let me know.
The funds that were initially allocated for the cemetery fences were penny sales tax.
Okay, so so it is part of this budget. Or would be part of the budget.
Well, it's not funded right now. Those projects are not funded currently.
But this would be the place to do that?
When, like today? No, not today. This would have to have another budget. We would need a budget amendment come back.
Which we've discussed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I meant no disrespect, of course, and I've said in public, I mean, what I see, but,
So if we amended the budget today, we would miss our October deadline.
right,
Yes.
that's our problem. We have that.
But that's why we should have done it when you presented it to us weeks ago with the penny sales tax as part of the initial funding.
Correct. During the first public hearing, you have the choice to say, come back, let's fund these
Because there
projects.
were things we were
The same
discussing.
way we approved those additional
Correct.
apprentices.
Which we lost, I
Right.
lost about 4-1.
I believe so, yes.
Well, the apprentices were approved.
Yeah.
Okay, so just as the right, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm mistaken. I apologize for shaking my head. That was what I thought the problem was. Ms. Roberts, come on up.
Be support.
I have said I support it.
I have to do my
Ms. Blockson is up after.
my speed reading again. Deborah Robert, 127 South K Street. Just wanted to fill you in that the cemetery, the human chain that we did on Tuesday was meant in part to bring awareness to the profound significance of our burial sites. And I've been doing some research on this subject to try to find a bridge with all of us to find a solution. And I came across a research paper titled Cultural Competency in Local Government Cemetery Management by Stacey Vatatoro, Associate Professor of Public Admin, UCF Orlando. And based on analysis of dozens of municipal cemetery managers throughout the U.S., she found that cultural competence manifests in several ways, including racial segregation, even in death. She states cemetery managers must confront and gain understanding of the cultural significance of burial sites in different communities in a municipality and how it's crucial in avoiding inadvertent disrespect and ensuring their preservation. And I'm kind of feeling like that's where we are right now. I mean, these are very sacred grounds with deep cultural significance to our Osborne community. You are the custodians of these final resting places responsible for preserving their sanctity. Their needs for a cemetery fence may not resonate with you, but perhaps we can come to a collective understanding culturally and act accordingly. To end this plea, I do have some really good news. I've been in touch with Dr. Antoinette Jackson, the applied cultural anthropologist of UCF Tampa. She founded the Black Cemetery Network, called BCN, to raise awareness about the issue of erasure and silencing of Black cemeteries throughout the U.S. There are about 125 cemeteries and growing in the network, with stories often missing from the larger public narrative. The network connects these living records of forgotten histories through research, advocacy, and a collaboration. Now, she's just done 60 Minutes about the Florida cemeteries, the Black cemeteries, this last July, which you can watch online. It's pretty cool. So Dr. Jackson, when we talk, she encourages our Osborne community to join the Black Cemetery Network, the national network. She's eager to hear from those who know the cemetery well, and told me an hour ago to let you all know that she is now part of our human chain. So please take these thoughts into consideration, and I thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yep. Council Bloxham? Yeah, I was unable to make that. I had a scheduling conflict on Tuesday. Good show up. Good.
Carla Bloxham, 1802 Pierce Drive. The cemetery should have been included in the budget. This is the City of Lake Worth cemeteries. They were established in 1915. In 1915, they were not burying Black people in that cemetery. They were burying white people only. This is not a racial issue. I am Black every day, so I don't need to call you out on the racist things that go on in this city. But what I do want to ask is, how many people that are sitting at home listening, or who are sitting in this room listening and thinking, if we were having a different cause, a different fight about something else, what side would they be on? I'm asking the people who live in Lake Worth to stand up and let you all know, everybody stand up and let you all know how they feel about this issue. This isn't the Osborne community's issue. It is a citywide issue. And until you recognize that you represent every one of us and not a select few, this city is going to go to hell in a handbasket. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bloxham. I know, again, I said this at the last meeting, and I just have to, the cemetery was founded in 1915. It's 2023, and now, and we are, I think, gladly accepting the responsibility, but there were a lot of commissions before us that never acted on this, so we're doing our best to catch up. We have a bunch of cards from the public comment. Ms. Clerk, Madam Clerk.
I have 13 comments.
Okay, let's hear them.
All right. Bear with me because I only have to read for 30 minutes. I don't think it'll take that long, but want to adhere to the rules. First comment is from J. Canella Marcus, 1224 16th Avenue North. I would like to voice support that the city is considering 3 new electrical apprentices. This apprenticeship program would be an excellent opportunity for working class community members who want to serve the city of Lake Worth Beach and build their skill set. I strongly recommend the commission to move forward with this measure. Next, Noam Brown, 1701 North D Street. I support the designation of 3 apprentice lineman positions in our electrical utility department. I hope this will be a restart of a sustainable and robust apprenticeship program that will ensure that our utilities departments are fully staffed with skilled workers for decades to come. This will not only save our city money by having these skilled workers in-house, but also provide gainful employment career opportunities for these employees, providing for their families. I appreciate the support of this program by those on this commission who have voted in support, and would encourage this to be a unanimous vote that clearly demonstrates what support for these workers and this department looks like. Irene Katz, 418 North Federal Highway, Apartment 28. I am writing in support of the electric utility apprenticeship program and support of the commissioners who have stood up for adding 3 more apprentices. One commissioner voiced support for the apprenticeship program and then voted against it. That is not support. That is not support. We need linemen, and the apprenticeship program is the most efficient, fair, and cost-effective way to ensure fair treatment for our linemen. Liam Broderick, 1601 North Dixie Highway, support workers and the community, protect the apprenticeship program. Marion DeJong, 2381 Sunset Avenue, apartment 110. Regarding this year's budget, the apprenticeship program should be a top priority, and we need commissioners who will fund it. The program is a testament to our workers, those who keep the lights on in our city. By supporting the apprenticeship program for our city's wholly owned electric utility and voting for the funding, we are supporting everyone who lives here. Our community is watching, and we expect consistency. For the commissioner who spoke in support of the program but voted against it, that's not how it works. You support with votes. Sasha Orenstein, 119 South Gulfview Road. I want to thank Chris McVoy, Vice Mayor, for advocating on behalf of the linemen who work incredibly hard to keep our lights on. The linemen have been clear that the apprenticeship program is crucially important to them and to our city. While I am disappointed that one of our commissioners voted against it in spite of their previous support of the program, I'm still pleased that 3 of the commissioners voted in favor of the apprenticeship program. I know I speak for a lot of other residents when I say I hope the commission will prioritize the needs of this city's workers. Matthew Brennan, 602 18th Avenue North. An apprenticeship program is something that increases the homegrown value of Lake Worth Beach, our utilities, and our commitment to ensuring safety and dependability to our residents. This is only a win for the future of Lake Worth Beach. Please make sure this apprenticeship program grows in our community and helps us grow. Henry Griffin, 3360 Lake Osborne Drive. At the budget hearing on September 14th, Commissioner Maliga made the hard decision to vote no. Before the vote, she told the electric employees she supported them, but when voting on the citywide budget, she had to do what was best for her constituents. In reviewing the budget, she looked at the needs of all departments, not just a personal agenda as others do. Her integrity is above the other members of the commission. Bruce Crawley, 1320 12th Avenue South. I would like to voice support for Commissioner Maliga. She has listened to our needs in District 1 and worked hard for us. Commissioner Maliga had urged everyone in the commission to work together for what is best for everyone in Lake Worth Beach. At the utility meeting this week, she suggested a small increase in a component of the electric bill to offset upcoming increased rates in water and other rates. Unfortunately, other commissioners were unwilling to consider her suggestion. Amy Ferreter, 30 South J Street. Extremely disappointed that this commission is refusing to budget the funding needed to secure the IA Banks Cemetery. You seem to have no problem finding an enormous amount of funding to pay for endless redundant studies and academic experts to pontificate on various issues. These studies and reports have cost the taxpayers of Lake Worth Beach $500,000 in the last 2 years with nothing to show for it. Do the right thing and show respect for all of the citizens of this town. Budget the needed funding and work with Commissioner Maliga and the community to secure the IA Banks Cemetery. Ramsey Stevens, 618 South K Street. Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, I urge you to prioritize exploring a new bond measure to address our significant capital improvement and deferred maintenance needs beyond the penny sales tax and ARPA funds, including for our roads and pool. Rather than debating over critical and morally necessary investments, shouldn't we be seeking a path to long-term financial sustainability and the level of service all our neighborhoods deserve from our city? Deferred maintenance is profoundly costly, and as demonstrated by electric utilities' recent bond issuances and continued decline in rates, sometimes the most effective way to save money is to invest it. Anthony Gallegos, 429 North D Street. I urge the City Commission to vote in favor of fully funding the city's electric utility apprenticeship program. Not only are well-trained linemen crucial to the maintenance, reliability, and continued safety of our city's electrical infrastructure, but training and employing workers in-house ensures that the special knowledge gained from years of service by seasoned linemen is passed on to the next generation, substantially reducing error, downtime, and costs for the city over the long term. The advantages are just too great to pass on. And so I urge you all to vote to fully fund this wonderful program. Thank you. The last comment is from Robert Clark, 1415 North J Street. In the budget review last year, the commission discussed the apprenticeship lineman program. The final version approved in September 2022 included hiring and funding one apprentice. There was discussion about hiring additional personnel during the 12 months of fiscal year 23. This increase in apprentices could have been accomplished through approval of a budget amendment by the commission. This action was not taken. Now, some on the dais have had the 3 additions added to the fiscal year 24 budget. While training new linemen is important, it does not appear that personnel needs in all areas of the city have been considered, as some positions were unfunded. The commission should look at the needs of the city as a whole, not the personal preferences of 1 or 2 individual members. That's all the comments I have this evening.
Thank you. Well, we have to pass a budget tonight, correct?
Yes.
I just want to get some understanding of, practically speaking, where are we at? If we have discussed at past meetings that would there be some funds available, especially for the Banks Cemetery, if we visit this at a later date?
Yes.
Or yes, there, I think, okay. I mean, is that right now? I mean, and I understand the question, I understand, the people's concerns. But if we're going to pass a budget tonight, is there something, and I don't know the answer, and I don't know that, I don't think the answer is yes, but can we take some time and just look at this and say, where can we take, what can we eliminate?
Yes, that would have to be done through a budget amendment. We can do it
If we pass the budget tonight,
Yes,
okay.
during the
But it's a definite possibility to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
With the majority vote, you can, we could pass a budget amendment to change capital projects, funding, et cetera.
okay,
So
okay.
it's possible.
I think Mr. McBoy was first.
Just to be clear, that wouldn't be a budget amendment tonight. That would be
No.
in the future.
Correct, in the future, right.
For today, because of the deadline to meet state requirements and
Correct.
local requirements, we need to pass this as is. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Unless you could quickly look at it and go, okay, let's get rid of this position. I mean, that's not how that
We
works,
can.
right?
No, we won't be able to do that.
Okay. Ms. Malega?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, I just want to be clear, Yannick, you and I had a conversation earlier. I do support all of our staff. I think that I'm one of the ones who go to bat up here for staff on a daily basis. So me not approving the budget had nothing to do with me not respecting our linemen. I'm actually one of the ones who fought to get the apprenticeship program back behind the scenes. I spend a lot of time working on things that are important to our staff. But I look at this budget as a whole because the capital improvements are part of the budget.
Correct.
And that is the concern. And for us to have fixed this would have been 2 weeks ago when we had other commissioners who didn't want to have the conversation and who wanted to pull from penny sales tax. So again, I thank you and staff for all your hard work and the directors. But this is not complete to me. And it's not against anybody who worked on it. It's from my point of view and the city as a whole. The capital improvement projects that could have been completed with funds should have been in here, and it's not.
And you're specifically talking about the cemeteries.
The cemetery and the water and sewer things that I brought up last 2 weeks ago, 3.1 million.
Commissioner Diaz.
I'm glad you brought up the water and sewer things because there are updates of that coming up soon. I mean, I think it behooves us to do as best as we can to find, the way to fund as many of these programs as we need. And that includes not committing things like ARPA funds or whatever, because we do have time on that, and not committing funds that we get one chance of spending when there are potential other avenues. Like on Tuesday, we approved on consent to go in after of a grant for some of those stormwater programs, things like that. We have legislative asks coming. I know our lobbyists will be giving us an update hopefully sooner than later. And we we have time to commit those funds for certain projects. And in the meantime, we should be looking at all available avenues and potentials to fund these projects. And, you know, that kind of diligence, I think, is really required. And there has been some information being requested from this dais regarding like the cemetery, you know, for example, what other things can we do to address those issues? You know, any crime, vandalism, whatnot, do we need increased PBSO presence? There's a lot of things that really should be discussed. We also asked, what is the maintenance cost gonna be over years? It's not a one-time expense, things like that. You know, the mausoleum is a legislative ask, for example. I think that's a good strategy. So it's not that we're not hearing the concerns of the community about it. I think we have what, 22 million of asks, and we have half as much money to spend. And we can't pay for it all, unfortunately. And, you know, we're really just trying to do our best to figure out how to cover these expenses.
Ms. Stokes?
I just wanted to recognize that I do hear the concerns of the community, and when I heard of vandalism happening there, that was completely unacceptable. But when I called Captain Bear to follow up on it, this was not even on his radar. So I think that we need to, the fence he didn't know we were even planning on putting a fence around the cemetery. So the conversation I had with him, maybe a few years ago, he's been hearing the talks about it. He was not aware of this. So I think the next step is really, we need to get together with the captain and see what are they doing, what's happening, and then what are the next steps there. So we can keep moving forward on this.
Okay, I have a turn. I see that you've spoken, and now I'm going to speak, and then I'll call on you. You know, I'm committed to the fences. I think we need to do it. And I think that if this commission has you know, we put some things off with some funds that we need to talk about. So if we have a commitment from the commission, I mean, I want to have a commitment from the commission that in a very short time span, we meet again on the budget and look at this really carefully and find money. You know, there's many asks and not enough money. It's like, I want to do something, but I can't afford it. But I think the community has made it very clear that this is at this point a priority that we need to act on. And I'm looking for the commission to make a commitment to visit this as soon as possible. We have, for folks that don't know this, we have a statutory deadline. We have to pass this budget tonight, which doesn't mean we can't amend it at a later date. But this is something that we have to commit tonight. Mr. McBoy.
Thank you. I will read from, I also communicated with Captain Barrett today, and I do not appreciate people in the audience telling me or the commission what Captain Barrett said. You were not on the call. I was on the call. I will also.
Folks, please, let's keep this as calm. It's a very emotional subject, but I ask everyone to just sort of stay calm.
Unacceptable.
Wow. Mr. McBoy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for maintaining the meeting. I asked Captain Bear, my overall thing, we have our challenge as a commission is to allocate scarce resources. We do not have an infinite amount of money. There are many things that are needed. Last year, we needed $1 million for a fuel tank. Was that an exciting thing to spend money on? That was ARPA money on that one. No, it wasn't very exciting, but it was explained to us what the problem was, what the cost would be if we didn't do that soon, and we approved it. In this case, I hear the community. I certainly hear, I too have read many of the same things that Ms. Providence referred to, Ms. Roberts. I'm very aware of some of the history in Florida that is got real problems to it. I have no problem that we need to pay attention to that. However, we need to have a process that makes sense, a process that says, what are the problems that we're trying to fix? who are the people who have expertise in those problems, which might be outside of the city, might be inside of the city? And what are the range of solutions? How well will they fix the problem? What are the costs associated with them? And how does all that balance against all the other things that are deserving needs in the community? That's where I have a difficulty of where it's come in. People are shaking their heads in the room, which they're certainly entitled to do. However, I'm going to read you the sentence that came to all of this commission and to the city manager today from PBSO, who we spend $14 million to provide security in our city. So, and I think they know something about it. Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but that's who we hire to do it. The quote from Captain Bear, referring to the two cemeteries, is neither location is on our radar as a hotspot. So as we think about what the problem is, let's take our time when we come back for a budget meeting, understand what are the issues. If the issues are not that there's vandalism, not that there are illegal things going on, not that there's some other thing, but it's a different, more abstract issue of honoring, of respecting the folks that are there. Maybe we need to put energy into straightening tombstones. That's the main thing I've seen is, they could do with some straightening up. Not an unreasonable thing to do. Let's make sure we understand what the problem is, make sure that we have broad consensus on what the best solutions are. In my conversation with Captain Bear, it was indicated that the kind of fence that was being proposed was not necessarily something that they would be on the first of their list for increasing safety in there because it reduces visibility. It's a logical sort of thing.
Please don't, please don't.
So at this point, yes, I hear the concern. I appreciate that everyone has come to this meeting and is raising concerns about the cemetery. I fully support that. Let's do the process in a reasonable fashion that considers all of the information. Make sure that we get that before we charge forward. Thank you.
Thank you. In my opinion, and I see your lights on, Mr. Diaz, I'll call you just in a second. My response to that is this is not just about crime. This is about, and I said this at the last meeting, the Osborne community was set aside for a very bad purpose. But one of the consequences, one of the positive consequences is that it is a family-oriented neighborhood. It is one of the most family-oriented, connected neighborhoods we have in the city, frankly. And in terms of, and I'm more focused on the banks for this reason. I believe that, again, didn't happen 50 years ago. I wish it would have, but we do, if we have an opportunity now to show the positive way of honoring that community, not necessarily that there's crime going on there, but there's, I was down at the gym yesterday. I was down there with the Hoops for Hopes and Ms. Malega was there and pointed out, it's not just because I said, well, are the people in the community, and it's people outside of the community that are sort of camping out in the area now that are coming in and bad behaving. So I think it's more about the crime. And, I understand, I saw the email from Captain Bear, but I think this is more about honoring the community. It's $125,000 is not the end of the world for this budget. I think we can find it someplace. I'm looking at you directly, Mr. Finance Director. All right. So I'm in support of it. I don't know that we can do it tonight. And I'm being told that probably not. And I don't know if we have the votes to do it tonight, frankly. I mean, what I'm hearing is there's two people outwardly supporting this at this point, but please don't. I would vote for, if there was a way to do it tonight, I would vote for it tonight. But I'm being told by the person that we depend on that that's not true. But if we could set a date tonight for the next budget meeting when we talk about this in total, that would be a good thing. So I support it. I would like to see it happen. I don't, it's not on tonight's agenda, but it needs to be we all have a lot of things that we need. This is one thing that I think has come out very strongly. And I think, one of the things that we talk about with Lake Worth is, taking pride in our community. And I think driving around and seeing something that says, this is our cemetery. This is this is a place of pride. It's a historic cemetery. And I love, Deborah, what you talked about, the Black cemeteries thing. It's wonderful. Thank you for doing that research. And I think that the time has come to do that. So, Mr. Diaz?
I think you covered it. I mean, the PBSO issue, if they're not hearing the concerns and it's not being reflected, I mean, believe me, that's not the first time I've heard that. And I think that's a discussion that needs to be had, not just with this issue, but largely, throughout the city. But I did want to say, yeah, we need to pass this budget tonight, but I do want to have this conversation sooner than later. And at a previous meeting, I've talked with Yannick, I've talked with Carmen that realistically, we have this October 1st fiscal year.
Mhm.
We don't have to wait until summer to start discussing budget. Let's kind of spread the pain, if you will, instead of cramming it all into a few months. Probably don't need to have so many workshops as well, but
Well,
we can have these discussions sooner than later. I think we're hoping end of October, maybe November, we'll be discussing, our community ARPA funds, for example. And, this is a conversation we can have throughout the year. We don't have to wait until next summer. And just for everybody's sake, community and us involved and staff, let's spread it out. So definitely sooner than later.
and Mr. When we talk about, when I asked you about, we have the funds, it's not just ARPA funds we're talking about funds from within the budget that we're passing tonight can be somehow rearranged if need be.
Yes, if needs be with the majority vote, it can be rearranged.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to possibly set a date if we or as soon as possible. I mean, next month, this is an important issue. Let's have a meeting next month.
I agree, Madam Mayor. We're
About
going
this.
into Christmas, and
Yep.
if we don't talk about this at the
I'd like,
last
before
second
it
meeting in
before
October.
it gets buried under other
it's
things,
just
I would
gonna-
like to have it
exactly.
done. So I'm asking I'm asking the staff to set a workshop. Yeah. Specifically on the issue of this agenda item and other things that might come up that we all have different things, but this seems to be something we need to pay attention to. So if I have consensus to ask staff to have a budget amendment workshop as soon as possible, that's what
I don't even think it needs to be an amendment because he was using it out of penny sales tax. It wasn't,
I'm told that it needs to be an amendment.
we need to amend the capital improvement, but
Yes.
we don't need to take money from what's in the budget now. There's other funds that will cover this cost from penny sales tax, correct?
Well, it will be amending the capital, the
Correct, but
capital.
we're not going to be
budget.
taking funds from any other department in here
No, not from me. It will be just funds that are available in the
outside.
any sales tax, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay, so is there a possibility, if there was the vote, if there was the political will tonight,
Correct.
to add that item, that one line item, the bank's cemetery to this budget? Can we do that technically?
Sure, we could do that. I believe you want, not,
Yeah, tonight,
no, not tonight. We can't do anything tonight. And Glenn, I don't know if maybe Glenn has more say on it, but for this, I don't think we could.
because it
vote
wasn't
on a
at the first
workshop.
reading, it wasn't at the first
Yeah.
hearing.
Shot down.
Because
I understand
second
that.
public hearing is basically just to approve the budget and the millage rates. Basically, that's what the second public hearing is for.
Okay, and I see Mr. Trustee shaking, nodding his head in agreement. Okay, so the best we can do is to have a workshop very soon, within a month. I'm hoping 6 weeks before the holidays start rolling in,
Mhm.
and make sure this gets addressed sooner rather than later. And I would ask for a consensus from the commission to allow the staff to do that. Yep.
Yeah, I think they should start looking at dates.
Right. Okay. Sarah?
I just want to say that unfortunately that some of the things that I've been hearing from the community is that this is what happens when you have single district voting. Is that electeds look at what is their voting base? And I have sat up here and I have approved and pushed for funding for all districts because I look at my job as working for the city as a whole. And when I say the city, I mean the residents, the business owners, and the employees. And unfortunately, what I'm hearing from the community is that they feel, and I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth, that the commission is now only worried about what's happening in their backyard. From
I have-
water projects to other projects, and I'm not going to say it. And to listen to colleagues sit up here and talk about how we have to dissect a fence that is picket and very see-through, by the way. And I'm going to encourage everybody in District 1, when you see something at the cemetery, blow up the phones 688-3400. I don't care what time of day or night it is. make the phone call, y'all. I don't care what you see. If it's somebody walking their dog defecating, if it's a car parked illegally overnight, make the call, blow up their phones so they can start reporting what's really happening in the cemeteries. Okay, 688-3400. I call it, and I can probably go through my phone records and tell you how many times I've called for the one on Pinecrest, because Pinecrest is the one that really has the crime activity late at night because it's big and there's a big hidden dark zone. I digress on that. But to sit up here and to say that we need to dissect, we have passed readings of $170,000, $225,000 on studies, on if come maybes, on redesigning brochures. In 2.5 years, and I won't even say how many years that other electeds have been sitting up here, millions of dollars have been spent on protecting species, talking about trees, talking about cracks in sidewalks that never get fixed. We are talking about people, the history and the integrity of this district, these residents, the city-owned cemeteries. It's not a shiny, bright object. And why am I talking about it? Because they're both in District 1. And that's why I'm talking about it. It's not because I have family. I don't have skin in the game, but I'm talking about it because they're both in my district and they have been underserved and overused. Let's just use, and I started talking about this 2 years ago, that we're losing $300,000 a year at these cemeteries. If we're going to lose the money, we need to elevate the level of service so we can start charging more, so we can start making more money to give back the level of service. This is a business plan. This isn't a warm, fuzzy conversation. This is a business plan and a way to make sure that the generations that are sitting in this audience, that their family members who are laid to rest there are protected and have the level of integrity that they deserve. Okay, it's not a bright, shiny object, but it needs to be talked about.
Okay, Madam Clerk, how are we with time? Madam
I'm
Clerk,
lost, but you do have a motion on the
Right,
floor.
but how are we doing
I
with time on the 30 minutes? Which we cannot go.
Well, you're sort of not discussing the topic right now, so.
Wow.
We're not talking about.
Oh, all right. Well, okay, I want to wrap this up soon. I don't think we've been told we cannot change it tonight. But we have a commitment from the commission to come back ASAP with I'm sure the staff will start working on dates. Mr. McVoy, let's wrap this up then. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate Commissioner Maliga's concern about single district voting, and it's an interesting hypothesis that as we switched from full voting from throughout the city to voting on single districts, that's exactly the concern that I had when that came along. However, I personally take a good deal of offense. I get calls from all over the city on a regular basis, and I never ask people, which district are you in or where? I take the.
Please don't, audience, please. It really isn't helpful if that happens. Thank you.
I take the calls. Any decision that I make up here, I'm thinking of the city as a whole. That's why I didn't like the idea of single district voting. I take very seriously when I have run for office, I walk throughout the city because it helps me be informed of all parts of the city. I spend a good deal of time moving around the city. I often do it on bike because I see more that way. I talk to more people that way. I hear more things that way throughout the city. So I take some offense at the assertion that, maybe I'm voting based on one district. That's not the case. I am committed to making wise decisions in the city with full information. So you're talking about blow up PVSO's phones so that they know. They got 16 calls for service in 2 years from Pinecrest. That's what PVSO says. That's the facts. So let's think about, and I'm all in favor of having a workshop on this and any other things we need to work on, but let's make sure we bring factual information and full information from the community to those meetings. Good job.
Thank you.
I would just like to add one thing.
Sure.
I think it's unfortunate when one item represents the way the city as a whole or the commission as a whole. Every time that you've brought back changes in policy, changes in funding structures to the cemetery, you've had full unanimous support behind you all the way. And to let the community, to give the impression to the community that we're up here working against them it's not healthy for the community. Excuse me, I have the floor.
Don't, please do not, Madam,
Anything.
Ms. Malega, do not interrupt.
Don't put that on me.
Do not interrupt.
And so we will be supporting upgrades to the Osborne Community Center and the gym and playground and pavilions. Like there's a lot of work that goes on, and the programs that that the city recreation team puts into those into the gym and none of us have ever said that we want to take anything away. Like we've supported every program, we've supported everything, and we have a capital improvement plan with limited resources, and it's all boiling down to this one issue. So if people in the community are feeling like single member voting is causing any commissioner up here to not care about them, I just don't think that's true. We've been supporting multiple efforts for that area of the town. So.
And I'm the only one that has to answer to the whole city. So there you go. Okay, let's, we have a motion, we have a second, all in favor?
All right, who made the second, Madam Mayor?
Who made the second?
I-
Mr. McBoy made the second. Who made the motion?
I may
Commissioner
need a
Stokes made the
in a
motion.
second, but I don't remember which.
I can't hear it. Two people, what, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Stokes made the motion. I did not hear who made the second.
Mr.
Then I made the
McBoy,
second.
Mr. McBoy, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Opposed.
We get this vote as soon as this new meeting, as soon as we possibly can. I absolutely commit to you, my residents, my friends, my people that live in the city. This is very important. It will come back very soon. You have my full support. Thank you. Yes, we are going to have, thank you, Ms. Fisher. We'll take care of it. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yep. Ms. Fisher?
Madam Mayor, if I may take this opportunity to thank our finance team
Yeah.
for all the hard work that they
Yes.
put towards this budget.
Thank you.
We've had 5 workshops, 2 public hearings, and many notices that we had to send out. So we put a lot of effort in there. I want to thank all the department heads for all their input and work in bringing along their budgets so that we can get to this point. And I also want to thank the commission for your dedication in ensuring that we have a balanced budget and to challenge us to make sure that the priorities of the city are covered in this budget. So thank you. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you for that. And also, I mean, let's take note that I'm sure, I don't know who, I can't speak, I can only speak for myself, but I get a lot of private public input about different, the budget, different things. So it's not just sitting up here. I'm very available. We're all very available. We hopefully return phone calls, answer emails with concerns that you have. We're easy to find. Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, I don't know what's. Yeah. No, I mean,
I believe you closed the public hearing.
yeah, public hearings are closed. You didn't put in a card to speak. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, that's how you speak that's how you make a public comment.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
have a
yeah.
difficulty,
Well, I mean,
but it's up to you.
Yeah.
I think that unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'll be happy to speak with you after the meeting. Okay, I'm going to hang around anyway because I got to sign some things. Happy to speak with you. I'll stay right here and we can talk. Okay, thank you. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
That was McBoy and Stokes. All in favor?